but you're not going live to like a proper audience as such at the moment. It's going live on my YouTube, but I wouldn't say there's a population there. But we'll cut it up later, cuz we'll cut it up later. So eccentric, yeah. No complaints your side?
Easy.
Okay, sure. No, because I had this idea about, like as I get older now, pushing 40 now, right? I increasingly want to have conversations with people that are passionate and knowledgeable about things that I may have a preconceived notion about, know? And now we're getting into this age, like we're also getting more nostalgic about lots of things in the world. And like people are being solidified in their places in our culture and in how we grew up. You understand what I'm saying? Like we put people, like we're putting people on pedestals now where, and one of those people we want to talk about today is Eminem. I feel like Eminem has like got this status around him and this aura around him that he's up there with the legends. And you appreciate him, right? As a
of course.
You there with M. You would call yourself an M fan.
Yeah, he's in my top 5 easily. Yeah, he's in my top 5.
And you see when I say
I'm not gonna be like all, you get some always that defend their coach. Like I used to be like that with Nas. Nas is like my number one. Right? I used to be like that with Nas, where you like where it's just it's incomprehensible the way you defend him. Like you're not using logic. It's just feelings. You get fans like that, especially when they're defending their coach. But as time went,
but that's good.
I grew out of it.
No, but that's good. And I'm looking, yes, for a measured discussion, but I'm also looking for like some passion here. So, I see you got Biggie on the skipper. So I know Biggie's in your 5 somewhere.
Yeah, he's around here, top 6, 5. Yeah.
So already, already. So you have Eminem somewhere higher than Biggie. You're not gonna specifically put it in order, but you have Eminem somewhere higher than Biggie.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you because I also want to establish. I want to establish that I think Eminem is a phenomenal rapper, and I think in terms of like pure ability, the way his mind works, like putting like actual bars together. That's not what this discussion is about at all. Like he's there. You can put him anywhere 1 to 3. You're not gonna hear an argument from me, ability wise, for sure. So we're there, right? But how he's looked at as a hip hop and specifically a rap legend, I have an issue with only because for me there has to be music that comes with that. For you to be looked at as a legend in an area of operation. In rap music, you have to come with some rap music.
Of course,
we in agreement, right?
Fully agree.
So I mean, I don't want to go like super abstract and start bringing up people like I can say a name to you that'll sound crazy. Like I can say Fabulous, and I'm telling you, I could make a case that Fabulous has brought more important rap music to rap than Eminem has. But you can. On a skills level, it's too easy for you to beat me down there. like I'm gonna say like, yeah, because you immediately gonna jump onto okay, but what has Fabulous done in terms of the arts of rapping to push rapping forward? And I'm with you. He's a fairly basic punchline rapper, but he has made magnificent music, like the music that he's contributed. Then I can even go to a person like Snoop. Let's have a discussion about Snoop. Where you got Snoop?
To be honest, Snoop's barely hanging on in my top 20. Like,
right.
Like I don't know. I think the major reason, because I'm sure you know. I mean, we know each other for years. So with me, from a lyrical standpoint, when it comes to criteria of like measuring a rapper's
right. Lyrics is the most important.
As an MC, lyrically, it's up there. And
yes, because you are lyrical. You are that likes to play with words, and like you can see in your schemes and everything that you have an appreciation for the actual art of rapping. So I'm there with you. Right? Okay.
That's why I always fight with me. They say why I take too long to release music. I mean, because I like to perfect, But anyway, and to me, when it comes to the arguments of a lyricism, of a lyricist, and then you I think the biggest crime against that is ghostwriting.
Oh
So
yeah,
when it
sure,
comes
sure,
to
sure, sure.
Snoop, I remember early, well, like I think I was still in high school or just about there, leaving
Right.
high school, when I first heard that Jay-Z wrote all the bars for Still Dre, and I was like, okay, for Dre, okay, that's acceptable. But then
Right.
Snoop came up in an interview and he's like, no, he also wrote my shit, and I was like, what?
I don't know, but like where Snoop was in his career, I'm not trying to defend Snoop because
Yeah,
weirdly, why I was letting you run is that I don't have Snoop in my personal top 40. Snoop's not even in my top 40. Like he'd have to be on my 50 because that starts feeling disrespectful to
okay,
put
no,
him
that's
lower than
actually
that.
accurate as well for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when we start thinking about, but the argument that I want to make is that and
Uh-huh.
musically, culturally and musically, I know I can't argue fair with you, but when it comes to Snoop, if I talk strictly about Snoop's musical contributions to like hip hop as a discipline, as an art form, as a you know, I don't think it's close between Snoop and him. Like I'm sorry, but it's not close. And I think for me to make that argument, I have to tell you why I discredit Eminem.
Okay.
So you got him in your top five, right? And I don't want to get into. I've never liked Eminem ever, like never, not for a day. So it's, I'm coming in biased, and I'm admitting my bias. I've just,
Right.
and
Right.
for me it's the content. Like I don't get the content. I don't like I don't listen to Insane Clown Posse. I don't listen to Limp Bizkit. I don't listen to. I never liked DMX's work with Marilyn Manson. Like, if I'm
Yeah.
talking from a purely content point of view, when we start getting into horrorcore and we start and for me, Eminem very much flirts with horrorcore. If we get into his actual lyrics that he writes down, because I'm a lyrics.
Right.
Oh, I love the wordplay and I like the deeper meanings behind things and stuff like that, right? So I'm saying, for me, Eminem, and especially the D12 era Eminem, bro, like some of the stuff that he was talking about there, like I just felt uncomfortable with. That's the same reason I don't smack Snoop. I don't smack Snoop. I don't listen to Snoop. You won't find me playing a Snoop Dogg song. I don't listen to, as much as I appreciate the music, the content's not for me, bruh. So I'm saying Eminem, never, ever, ever listen to Eminem because of
Okay.
some of the weird themes and like the super aggressive, like it was heavy for me, and I understand that's fine for most people.
Right.
But so if Eminem's in your top five, let's start with Eminem's classic albums.
Um.
List Eminem's
I'd say
classic albums.
I wouldn't technically, it's not his first, but I would say his first two, Slim Shady, and then Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers LP.
Because Infinite was before
Then
that,
I
right?
won't even lie. The rest are borderlining on classic, especially Eminem Show. I think it's a
Okay.
borderline classic, But his first two definitely. And I say this for okay. I remember watching an interview. While I watch a lot of stuff, but people that
Right,
know
right,
me, like, I
right.
watch and read a lot of stuff. So I remember Eminem himself was admitting that he was highly influenced earlier in his career by Nas and AZ. So
Right,
that's why when you hear his first official, they like call it a street album, because he did it
right.
with his first managers, the Bass Brothers. It's called Infinite. I'm sure you heard of
I
it.
know Yeah, I know Infinite. I
Right,
I enjoyed Infinite. I had no issues with
right.
Infinite. Sound
So that's
Bombing
officially his
2.
first album.
What was that song with Eminem? Is it called Any Man? Is there an Eminem song called Any Man Who Jump in Front of a Minivan? Like, I'm trying to remember the theme. On the
Maybe.
Raucous compilation, there was an
Oh,
Eminem
okay, okay,
song on
okay.
there.
I
On
think
Sound
it's
Bombing
on
2.
Sound
On
Bombing
Sound
2.
Bombing
Yeah.
On Sound Bombing 2, there was an Eminem song on there. And like I loved that Eminem. Like where it's
Now that Rockus
so
Eminem was crazy. Yeah.
bruh, so like that era, I'm with you. So you saying the two albums that came after that though, hardline
Those are
classics.
certified classics. And I'll say Sun Shady LP, Marshall Mathers LP. I'll say this particularly for I think one of the biggest issues in hip hop earlier on,
Right.
Into the 90s was crossover, right? I mean,
Okay.
rock was killing it, you know. And I mean, I know hip hop has a culture in its own, right? That's
Right.
worldwide, but it grew in a certain amount of time, you know. And into the
Yes,
90s,
sure.
the golden era, that's when it kind of
Sure.
started branching off to the white people, to the Asians, to the whatever. So it had some sorts of global footprint, but
Right.
there were still some restrictions with crossover. Rock was still killing things parallel to hip hop. R&B was still killing things parallel to hip hop.
Yes.
So there wasn't really a global impact. So I believe when Slim Shady comes from a battle rap background. You know,
Right.
he's been in Rap Olympics, Scribble Jam. In the 90s, that was like the biggest battle rap tournaments in the world, right? So
Right.
I think his first, when he recorded Infinite,
Yes.
when he first heard it back, he didn't like it, but the Bass Brothers liked it. But
Right.
the good thing about Infinite is that it actually got his name out there, and that's when Trey and Jimmy Irvine like randomly picked up his demo, etc., etc. So,
Right.
but I believe when Slim Shady LP dropped, the persona he came with, to me, this white trash persona, was
Right.
authentic. Because if you look at this
Yeah,
whole, if
for sure. For sure.
you look at his
Right.
background, when you see documentaries and stuff, he grew up terrible in Detroit.
And
Trailer
and
park,
and
whatever.
the movie, the fictionalized version of it that I love 8 Mile, bro. It's 8 Mile is actually a great film for film's sake. Like
It's
regardless of who
excellent.
the person, it's a great film. And
The
yes,
acting,
especially
everything,
you know
cinematography, yeah.
when you hear Royce, who we'll talk about later, was one of who's in my top five. When we talk, or like when we hear Royce talk about Eminem and all that, Royce has always been like hardline. Y'all, even the stuff that he's given to y'all doesn't fully describe the things that
Right,
Tissot went through. Right. So I get what you're saying. There was an
right.
authenticity that he came with, and that persona wasn't a persona. That was him.
It wasn't.
It
That was
was an
him.
outpouring. And that was like, that's where the greatest art comes from, right? Where it's like an outpouring. So what I'm
So,
saying though,
okay.
he didn't like Infinite probably because Infinite was boom bap, Nas AZ type
It sounded
stuff,
Nas
right?
and AZ. Yeah.
Now, when we go to the Slim Shady LP, that's when we start getting into the stuff where he is talking in like this very esoteric, abstract, metaphorical, but very real way about
Right.
some of the demons inside of him and the things that he had went through.
Being
And
trailer
us,
park trash. Yeah.
for sure. So as a concept, and I have the same problem with lots of albums. I have this problem with the allegory. I have this problem with To Pump a Butterfly.
Sorry, I just lost you for a bit there. Technology.
Sorry, with you. I cut that out, right? So I'm saying, if we're talking as a work of art, if we're talking conceptually, if we're measuring it by the legitimate standard of what he is doing, I'm with you. It's brilliant. It was a landmark moment artistically for that to happen. But I'm just saying, now that that's happened now, the moment, the cultural moment that you're talking about, I'm owning it. I'm saying that that's happened. Let's look back today, and on this classic, we'll start with the first one. What are the songs there? Because I don't like Snoop, bro. I've never been a big Snoop guy. But when people say to me, Doggy Style is a classic, I go, yeah, for sure, a classic. I can't argue. It's absolutely a classic. It's in a Hall of Fame somewhere. If we start doing the hip hop Hall of Fame, Doggy Style is one of the first albums, if not the first album that goes in there, right? So I'm saying now,
Right.
you saying let's make your case. So now we got Doggy Style up there. We got Ready to Die, which I've always preferred more than Life of the Dead will probably be in there as well, right? Maybe Machiavelli's in there. I don't know. We can start going. Illmatic's obviously in there. We can do 36 Chambers, right? So now you got Slim Shady in your hand, and you're about to put it up there. Give me the songs that. Give me the reason that this album goes alongside these other important works.
I can pick specific songs, but
For sure.
I think songs like if you look at songs like I could go throughout the track list, but I think the one that pops to mind immediately is Rock Bottom. Like when I hear Rock Bottom, a lot of people when they talk about the Slim Shady LP, the first thing is "Hi, my name is," or it's "Guilty Conscience," or something like that. But to me, what really popped out to me about where I realized that no, this dude is a genius. This dude is a genius.
Yeah.
Is how throughout that album he mixed. Okay, there was humor. There's quite a bit of humor, especially the Ken Knief skits. I love those skits. There is humor there, especially throughout the album. There's humor, right? The detail feature, humor. But where I like how he mixes that realness with that humor is how he cuts when you cut the album in half and you go into tracks like Brain Damage in the beginning, which is more like a conceptual track. It's slapstick comedy in there, but it's very conceptual. But when you go into tracks like Rock Bottom, where you literally hear, in fact, Joe Budden listed Rock Bottom as his favorite Eminem track.
Right. Joe Budden's in my top 5. But the argument here for a song like Rock Bottom or Brain Damage, right? If you tell me Guilty Conscience or My Name Is, to me that helps your case. But when you start naming those other songs, I'll tell you why it hurts your case. If I was standing in front of just, how can I put it, like a room full of my peers who all love rap music, obviously we're all going to veer off and we're going to have our own niches where, where we got things that we smack that's different to other people. And okay, Jet's around. But I'm saying, Jet, you must hop on, bro. Let me post this thing here. But I'm saying, obviously we're going to have our own things where we differ. We're going to have our moments where I'm going to tell you, for sure, bro. Let me think of a song. I'm going to tell you that Doubt, for sure, is one of the greatest rap songs of all time. And you may agree, but the rest of the room is going to go, say, don't do that. Like, don't play with us, right? So we would have to discount Dumb Out. We would have to discount any song of Black Star, really. If we're talking about if we're talking about the history of rap music, right? Black Star is one of the greatest albums ever made in any music genre ever. Easily. But if I'm standing in the hip hop Hall of Fame amongst those peers, and I'm saying, guys, let me just play Brown Skin Lady for y'all quickly. It's not going to make it in terms of consensus, right? If we play Snoop Dogg's What's My Name Is, if you play Snoop Dogg's, if you play literally any song of Doggy Style, if you play G's and Hustlers of Doggy Style, the room on balance is going to go, all right, you got that one. Gin and Juice, we're all going to go, all right, have it. Like, that's yours. Like, it's not arguable that that's a classic. So me, when I talk about a classic, I'm not putting my own perspectives on there. You understand what I'm saying? To me, Tetsuo When Youth is a classic. But if I play that for somebody else, they're going to tell me I'm mad. Like, you understand what I'm saying? But if we play, as you're saying, Gin and Juice, who's going to argue, bro? If you play Juicy, if you play Hypnotize, there's things here so that's what a classic is. A classic is something that lives outside of itself in terms of our collectiveness, our collective, as an overall culture, we can go, for sure, Miss Jackson is a classic song. So I'm saying when I look at Eminem's Slim Shady album, in that sense, if we look at where he is where he's considered on the pantheon of hip-hop greats, right? And then we look at that as one of his classic albums. I'm saying, how many songs are there from that album that we can play that's going to hit like Rough Riders Anthem? Like, if we're real, I'm just saying, objectively, if we're real, how many Eminem songs are there that we can play that's going to hit like Rough Riders Anthem?
Okay, you got a point. I understand where you're going. I think I was maybe being a bit too oh, what's my personal favorites, etc. But let me just say this regarding Slim Shady LP. If you want to put it in a consensus with other classics, as a body of work, I think it's better as a body of work, right? As compared to Marshall Mathers LP, which has, I think, arguably his greatest hit. So if we put, let's just say we got Marshall Mathers LP, right?
Right.
We take Marshall Mathers LP, and we take the real Slim Shady against any other classic song in terms of impact, in terms of radio play.
But radio play is about, it's disingenuous for me to discredit radio play now after I've just made a point for them, just trying to send chat a message here. But like, just like, it's wrong for me to discredit it exactly after what I just said now, you know? But I'm saying, radio play for me is we're getting into pop. We're getting into like the pop side of things. You understand what I'm saying? We're getting into the situation of what is hip hop, bruh? Because like I feel like hip hop is something that like we own. Like how can I put it? I don't mean me and you. I'm saying hip hop and rap has the people that have dedicated themselves to like being fans of this, right? Of this genre. We are not gonna say that Love the Way You Lie is a rap classic. Right. We're never gonna agree to that, bro. Like never agreeing to that. However, if we're looking at it in terms of radio play and in terms of the numbers it's done and in terms of its overall cultural impact, I'm with you, bro. Love the Way You Lie is one of the most impactful songs, numbers-wise. And because of numbers-wise, how many people's childhood is a part of. But I'm saying when the rap O's park down, like the way jazz people sit down, when the scholars sit down one day, we're not going to have a real conversation that takes Love the Way You Lie into account as one of the greatest rap songs. So I'm saying, and that's why I'm saying, when I think of Slim Shady LP, I don't know it as well as you do. Because as I said, it skipped me over, even as an older was like massively into like rap music at the time and was excited by Eminem the way he came on. I don't know if I can name 3 songs on Slim Shady LP that are culturally impactful the way I can pick any song of Machiavelli. I can pick, like if we're talking about classic albums, and we can if I ask you, Kaz, what's one of your other favorite classic albums? In the world of rap, we can literally pull any song of I don't know, what's Big Pun's second album? like you understand what I'm saying? Like this stuff.
Capital Punishment, Still Not a Player.
Punishment. Like we can play that song in a room full of O's that are hip hop, dedicated to hip hop, like hip hop fans that are culturally invested, and we can literally play any song of 36 Chambers and they're gonna rap along. Now I think Black on Both Sides should be held up the same, but it's not. And I understand that there's a niche where that lives. But Mos Def is not considered one of the greatest rap artists, bro. Mos Def is much lower in people's estimation than Eminem is in terms of like the general. But the truth is, if we start dissecting the music that Mos Def has contributed to and brought to us, I'm saying if we're going like how we're talking now, song by song, rap O's parking down, what are the Eminem classic songs of Slim Shady?
I think with regards to Eminem, and this may sound a bit contradictory, but from a cultural standpoint, I don't think there's us, because if we're being real, hip hop was created in New York by Black Americans, right? Hip hop was created in New York by the African American society. It's an American concept. It's an American culture, right? And for honestly, if you're looking at, I don't know how it was, I'm South African, but if you're looking at the poverty-stricken area of Bronx, New York, where hip hop was born, I don't think there's any white people. You know, if they are,
they were like for real. like the one that was there, they were cut from a different cloth.
They were walking past like, what the hell is going on here? So
yeah, sure. So it is something that we own. Yeah.
So if you look at Eminem's case, specific songs, he has got hits, right? I mean, My Name Is, the video and all that was a hit. You know, MTV was killing the tape when they were playing it. But I don't think from a hip
I
hop
think if you look
perspective.
at his,
Yeah.
yeah, I think if you look at his hits, if you literally park down and write down his hits, ask yourself how many of his hits are rap hits.
Right.
What's that? What's that number parking at?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like Protect Your Neck is a lyrical assault.
Oh man,
But I don't think it's like an Eminem song unless you're going unless not Slim Shady LP, you're going further towards Lose Yourself, Sing for the
oh,
Moment. Right. If you're
oh
going
no,
there,
God. But I'm saying even in
but
that space, even with lose yourself, like college rowing teams are coming out to lose yourself, bruh. Like protect your neck and the jump off. Both of those are classic songs to me. That's different, guys. Like we're talking about, and
right.
again, I don't want.
But Slim Shady LP, I think with Slim Shady
Yeah,
LP, it builds his persona in the game, right? As a whole, that concept as a whole, right?
right.
And I think he started defending himself as well as the issues he was having with fame in Marshall Mathers LP. So that's a Marshall Mathers LP is a lot more aggressive. It's a lot less playful than Slim Shady.
On that LP, is that the LP what I am?
The way
I am, whatever you say. Oh, God, that song is, and that's what I'm saying. There are songs on there like this. When Eminem is turned on, like when you hear Eminem, like oh man, that song for me is it's insane, like what he's done, and even like the playfulness on songs like Drug Ballad, like I love that song, bro. Like that's a song that I can go, I understand, but on balance, I feel like where he is, like where he's put by both fans of him and people that are not fans of him, like people that are like his recognizability, his cultural significance, and where we rank him overall. I don't know if we can tangibly relate that back to music. And I'm just saying, like, I have a problem with the fact that we can't actually take how we consider him and link that back to songs. Wow. And I find that weird, bro. Like, I find that.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Because somebody like, even somebody like, Big Daddy Kane, even somebody like Rakim, who's
KRS-One.
KRS-One, Rakim. Rakim's like, they call him the currency. He's like considered one of the greatest ever. But from a musical standpoint, people can only point back to him and Eric B and Rakim's first album. Right.
Yeah, sure. And I'm saying I would know a bit more rap music, maybe because I'm a bit more involved than most people. But I mean, I think most of them presided over a period where they were dominant. And I think that Eric B for president, like that era where he was as hot as he was. I mean, even like Will Smith, bro, I will never take away anyone that wants to put Will Smith right up there. LL Cool J, right up there. Like, you can put them wherever you want to put them up there. And I'm not going to argue with you because for the eras that they were dominant, they were a different kind of dominance. But I'm saying, again, to use your example, like Rakim, maybe I can't name as many Rakim songs as I can, Eminem songs that are culturally impactful. I don't know. I can't name them. I know them, but I don't know the ones that I could play in a room. However, on the other side of that, LL Cool J's discography and songs, bruh, they are vast, they are impressive, and I'm saying he's rapping on there, like he's really rapping on there, bruh. But he's also converted his ability back to tangible things that I can call lights and say, come here, I want to play the song for y'all. Right. And with Eminem, I just find that there's very few Eminem songs that I can call lighties, and we can all go all the syllables, but like it's not musically. I feel harsh because I mean when I play Who Shot Ya, when I play like when I play like Symphony 2000, or I'll play I'll Be That, or like those songs that can give you like that thing that I'm trying to convey to somebody, like this is what rap is, this right here. And with Eminem, it's just never that. With Eminem, it's more like a cannabis situation. Like I love cannabis, bruh. But like when I'm playing cannabis for you, I'm not playing it for you for the musicality. I'm playing it for you because of how technically good 100 bars is. Look what he did there with that scheme and the way he switched that over there and the entendre. But like it's not musically relevant. Like when you making a playlist for your lighties to say these are the songs that defined rap, like from '83 or '78 or wherever you want to start it up until now. I just feel like Eminem hasn't earned it, and it's especially sad if we look at Royce the 5'9", who stands next to him.
Right.
And that's where I wanted to learn. How do you feel about Royce? Where you got Royce?
Royce is an alien. I think it's because it's so tough to make a top 5 or a top 10. Right. But Royce is definitely top 20. He never leaves it. He never leaves it because I think Royce, even when it comes to from a ghostwriting perspective, he did some stuff on the Chronic as well. He wrote for Trey and
Press
stuff.
Play.
So
Press Play, yeah.
Royce, just like Lupe, I think that's why they got a podcast together. They're the same, like they were never particularly in the industry. They were always just there, like just on the outskirts, observing. Lupe, I mean, his first 2 albums, you could say, were very industry saturated, but
Lupe has more classic rap songs on his first 2 albums than Eminem has over the length of his career. I don't think it's controversial for me to say that. Like, I don't think it's weird for me to say that. I'm saying if we sit in a room full of like hip hop heads, like rap fans, hip hop heads, like an amalgamation of like everybody that's a fan of rap music, I'm just saying, I can play like, there's a number of Lupe songs that I can play. And Lupe features, or just of those first 2 albums, like there's numbers in there that they just go, like they rap. Like a song like The Cool is even outside of rap, bro. Like it's, it's like it's that important. It's that important. And I'm saying, where's Eminem songs like that on his first 2 albums, bro?
Let me tell you with Eminem. Okay, his first 2 albums, I can name like tracks from Slim Shady LP and Marshall Mathers. I can name it where even earlier with him and Royce, the old Bad Meat Evil, I can play that to hip hop heads and they'd be like, oh shit, this is a classic, right? But I think
but we're talking about if we're talking about the people that like rap music, like they're 100, you're talking about a 15% group of people that's gonna rap along with every word in Brain Damage, for example, right? That Eminem fans, basically, right?
So I think with Eminem, I think what we have to look at is the nature of his impact in terms of the culture.
Okay.
Nas is lyrical. Like when people heard Illmatic, they're like, "Oh shit! I've never ever heard the projects or the hood getting painted in such a pic. I've never ever heard that before." That's why Illmatic was so impactful. So Nas, and then they started dubbing him the Prophet, the street prophet. So Nas, I think from a conscious point of view, he changed the game. Right. I think Eminem, Eminem made not just cultural crossover in terms of white people. I mean, there was white people before him. There was Beastie Boys, MC Search, who people, I think, felt that they just fitted into the culture. In terms of most of them were from New York. Most of them from MC Search is from New York, Beastie Boys from New York. So even the way they spoke was very New York. So they just fitted in. I think with Eminem, what makes him huge for me is that the all just came into hip hop, and it's not that he went counter the culture. It's like he created another lane within the culture. I could say it's based on, particularly with controversy. I understand. I mean, the old.
You would be there, right? Oh yeah, bro.
Nappy putting her in the trunk and all that. Woody's daughter.
That's not even like that's not even the wild. Just before you carry on, there's a album. One of my favorite. No, because when we were lighties, we could buy one album and then like you had to listen to that album. So like whatever album you bought, like you listen to it. So Tony Touch, The Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I loved that album, bro. I can still rap everything off that album today. And there was a song on there, D12 featuring Eminem, and it's called Get Back. And I won't even say that Eminem himself was particularly abrasive on that song, but there's a verse there, I think, from Bizarre that is just so. Oh, but come on, it's like there's nothing. It's like, it's like I feel uncomfortable with the content that you're bringing me. So you take in, and again, I know that this is me putting my own personal situation on here, but I'm saying that lane that you're talking about that Eminem created, who has successfully followed that blueprint today? Who's his successor? Because the truth is, I'm gonna say someone, and you're gonna disagree. But if you actually park Laka and think about it, Eminem's successors are Macklemore and Tekashi 6ix9ine, bro. That's his successors. That's his successors, bro.
I could point out.
Tell me who's the new Eminem?
Youngins like Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas said Eminem's his idol and he's big right now.
But Joyner Lucas is not making. But Hobson, yes. But I'm saying Joyner Lucas is not making music like Eminem was making that time, or even still making now.
I think he's taking the formula. Because he also got humor. He's very slick.
Chet got one. I love Rather Rocket Man. Soul Assassins album, man, came through, bro. But I'm saying now we're talking about niche artists now. So I'm not saying there's no niche artist. Rather Rugged Man, Hobson. I'm saying who is his sons today making music? Because you're saying it's not Macklemore and Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm saying it is. So I'm saying who's followed his blueprint then? If not those two.
If I could say, and this might be a bold statement, any white rapper post Eminem. To me,
I don't think G-Eazy makes music. G-Eazy don't make music like Eminem.
I'm just saying,
Mac Miller don't make music like Eminem. Mac Miller don't make music like Eminem. Logic doesn't make. Logic raps with Eminem, raps like Eminem, but he's like I'm saying because I get what you're saying. Eminem created a subgenre. And he lived in that subgenre, and there's lots of people that have followed on from there that are maybe not as prominent. But I'm saying who's prominent in our culture? That he's
prominent in the culture.
I'm saying if he created a subgenre, who's in it today? Who's still doing that? And who came after him?
To me, it's anybody, any rapper that's rapping with the hearts on their sleeve on a record. To me, a son. I can even make.
I'm not giving him. I'm not giving him
a son of Eminem. A son of Eminem is something like J. Cole. A son of Eminem is something like Drake.
Okay.
Emo rap. In terms of emo rap.
No, bruh. So you think if we bust down Eminem's content, like if we take a song that you like of Eminem's and we really look at it, right? If we really look at it, what he's written down there. I'm saying he's doing weird metaphorical abstraction. And I like it. Conceptually, I love what he's doing, bruh. He's writing a movie, scripted, cool. But I'm saying, he's talking about some wild shit in there, bruh. Like, I'm saying, really.
Especially the first album, yeah.
And 80% of the O's that were gravitating towards that was because of the shock value. They were like, oh shit, this rapper is saying this stuff. So I'm saying, I would say somebody like J. Cole goes more with DMX, bruh. Because DMX was writing these big songs where he was pouring, like, I think I was rapping emotionally has never been like really mainstream, like not super mainstream successful, but the O's that are doing it now, they are mainstream successful. J. Cole being a fantastic example of that, where O's is just rapping like their truth and all that. I don't think Eminem is the father of that lane. I really don't think he is. I mean, we've spoken about some O's like that. Joe Budden wasn't far after Eminem, bruh. Like, he wasn't long after Eminem. Joe Budden's first studio album had 10 minutes on it. It had Walk With Me and all that there. on his first Def Jam album. DMX was talking about wild things like that before that, bro. We can go into Lupe. Jay-Z was a very, very emotive. Oh, yes, he was a lot of braggadocio, talking about Marcha and all that there. But, I mean, he was also writing You Must Love Me. And, like, you know, he was also writing like that kind of. So I'm sure Eminem has contributed some great stuff to that genre, but I can't call him one of the forerunners of that style, because his style was way more abrasive than that. Like, he wasn't talking about it in when I was young, only had 2 pair of Lees, the pinstripes and the grays, the one of war on. I'm sewing tigers on my shirt. You know, like when Biggie was talking about that kind of stuff, and he was giving it to you to paint that like very harsh reality of his life. Eminem was telling you, had D12 rapping him, telling him about how they were molesting children. I'm like, guys, come on, like, come on. It's just weird, guys. Like, why are we rapping about this? Why are we rapping about this? And so I'm saying, I can't give that to Eminem, bro. Like I just can't, I can't give
I
that to Eminem.
understand. Because if you look at cultural impact, I think you also
Machine Gun Kelly.
that's a son. That's a son. In
Yeah.
fact, that's probably a grandson. But no, but if you look at Eminem, I also measure cultural impact by also how the goat, well, people who are considered the goats view you. Like
Yes.
I was watching a video. Well, Big Daddy Kane was one of them. Big Daddy Kane, uh, a, a black man from the Bronx, considered one of the legends. Mentor Jay-Z, Big Daddy Kane, took him on tour and stuff.
Yes, yes,
He
yes.
said Eminem is one of the most important lyrical figures in hip hop. Rakim, who's, as I said, considered the God MC, he made a crazy statement. I wouldn't even say that. You know what I'm saying? But he said that if
Yeah.
Eminem was black, he would be the Muhammad Ali of hip hop. So for
But
me,
that's false. I tell you why I find that like offensive to me. It's because I really I'll get worked up about this thing because Royce is the black Eminem. I could make a case that Royce raps at a higher level than Eminem. Eminem himself will tell you I'm the only rapper living that has ever spanked him on the same record with him. Royce said that. And he didn't say it in no Royce didn't say that in a braggadocious way. Royce
yeah.
we've got so many songs of Royce and Eminem together to have a point of reference here. We have so many songs of Royce's rapping, doing things that are just incredible lyrically, conceptually. Royce is also all that like talks about like real shit in his songs. So I'm saying we can't say if Eminem was black because we've literally seen what would happen if he was because Royce is only getting some kind of recognition now. And if you go back as a hip hop head and you listen to Bar Exam 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you come away from that, oh man, I'm saying I'm not even talking about albums. If we're just talking Royce's contributions, just in terms of lyrical, I'm just showing off. I'm not trying to sell a record. I'm not trying to make boom. I'm not trying to make hip hop. I'm not trying to make fast lane. I'm not trying to make lighters. If we're talking just pure, undiluted rapping ability, Royce is there with Eminem. If you want to put Eminem ahead of him, fine. But Royce is not far behind him then. And Royce,
because even if you mention Royce, I mean, you have to mention Elzai as well.
Oh, I love Elzai, bro. Some Village have had a fair amount of commercial success. So I would say Royce has had much less success than some Village have had. You get what I'm saying? But like, there's lots of us, bro. I mean, people like Tech Nine's vibe. He might not be lyrically on the same level, but I'm saying Tech Nine's vibe is right there with Eminem. So I'm saying Eminem is only Eminem. Eminem is Eminem because he's Eminem. We've accepted him as Eminem. So all these others that come out and want to talk about, what Eminem could have done if he was black are talking nonsense. Because Eminem and Royce came up together. And Royce has had to fight and claw and scratch and puzzle and hustle every step of the way while putting out music that is comparable to Eminem's. While performing at a lyrical level that is very comparable to Eminem's. His discography is, you can't be disparaging towards Royce's discography if you're just listening to the music. If you're talking sales and radio and all that there, and Grammys, okay, what I'm going to tell you, for sure.
Exactly.
But I'm saying if we sit in as hip-hop O's, as scholars and saying, what has Royce done compared to what Eminem's done, I'm maybe transferring a bit of that bitterness because I'm a big Royce O and I'm a big Lupe O, and I'm very much behind a lot of O's that I think are in that category. Right. And I'm happy to see. Yeah, sorry
about it. No, I think what also puts Eminem on that pedestal is particularly it's not even himself, because whenever I listen to, like, it's very hard getting an Eminem interview, but whenever he's on the, it's like, even the recent one on Crocodile is another one too. Crocodile is another one.
You see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to get into this weird space where people are going to listen to this back and tell me I'm mad. Because if we start naming Crocodile, Jada Kiss, except it's slowly always the order we can name. Bro, you can make a case for Benny Siegel. T.I. T.I. is incredible, bro, with the way. There's so many O's that we... and not just underrated. If you try to bring them up in a conversation with an Eminem fan and try and say, yeah, but 100,000 Black Thought can rap like that, bruh. If I try and say, yo, what Black Thought can rap like that, all tell me, never did you see the cypher from 2000. Like you see, and it's like the, the culture overall, I think, has been very dismissive of other people that are similarly talented. And Eminem is solidified. You can't speak out against him. That's the legend status that he is. And I just have a problem with it. Like, I really have a problem with it.
Yeah, but because if you look at, like I was saying, he was interviewed recently with Crocodile, and if you look at his demeanor, and you're like, hey, is this really Eminem? Because the way he speaks, it's like a student of hip hop. Like, he's talking about the first time he met LL, he almost cried, and because whenever he speaks about speaking, whenever he speaks about meeting his idols, and then Crook was speaking about the track they did, and then Eminem told Crook, hey, you know what? Whenever I write for you, in some cases I write 3 or 4 verses, and I kind of go crazy thinking of which is the best verse to write on a Crocodile track, So he was praising the guy. So I think the media, I think that's the problem becoming a superstar. Like there's so many views of you as not just a rapper, but not just an artist, but a person as well. There's media outlets, there's fans, and so everybody has this particular how can I say, view of Eminem, perspective of Eminem. Some of them say because of his content, he's an asshole. But then when you look at his interviews, you're like, yeah, this nigga he's so timid. Like, why is he talking so
because he did create a market with that content, bruh. And that's the thing. People don't see. He is Everlast. Him and Everlast had a problem. Him and Insane Clown Posse had a problem. But he is those. That's what I was trying to understand. He should be on a Metallica t-shirt. He's the evolution of Led Zeppelin and Korn, and like, he is these people, bruh. And people just don't see that. He's become culturally impactful, as you said, with a specific demographic, because he's the rap version of these heavy metal Megadeth groups. And he chowed off that for so long and then moved into the commercial space. He's a rock star, bruh. So I'm saying, yes, he obviously deserves to be mentioned in our culture. But I'm just saying, it's weird for me culturally that I always think that LL Cool J is not a good rapper. And that, like, if you try to put LL Cool J in your top 5, I also look at you like you're mad. Or you try to put Will Smith in your top 5, I also look at you like you're mad. But the truth is, I'm happy to say, not overall, I'm happy to say in terms of the music they gave us, that Will Smith and LL Cool J have given us way more significant, lasting contributions musically than Eminem has. And that's a long list of O's that have. That's a long list. We start talking about Pusha T. We start talking. We can carry on here for a long time of O's that have brought us music that's contributed to our culture musically that far outstrips Eminem's pure musical contributions. Because I'm sorry, but I don't care how much of a hit Monster Under My Bed is. I don't care how much of a hit, what's the one? Guess Who's Back? Back.
But then again, on those songs, it's particularly his hit. The dude is rapping his ass off. But if you think about it, I mean, even though they're hits, when you break down syllables and cadence, they're always rapping his.
I'm not saying I'm saying the O can rap like at the next level. I'm just saying Young Jeezy has done more for the rap. Like, Young Jeezy has got bigger, like the actual rap songs. Like, we get into, and it's not for me to define what rap music is. And I know you hate Cardi B, and it's up and it's stuck, bruh. I'm saying it's like rap evolves and it changes, and it just does. But I'm saying when we look back now as a retrospective on Eminem's career, and we start picking out the songs from me and you's generation, from the golden generation, from the 90s into the 2000s, and I ask you, what's Eminem's song that I can put there with Trap Star, that I can put with Soul Survivor, that I can put with Top Back, like there's stupid songs that are significant to the rap culture, bruh. And I'm just saying, Eminem's got he has a lot. I'm saying, I'm not saying he doesn't, cuz please don't misunderstand me,
No,
but
of course.
not to be held in the esteem that he's held in. That's just where I am, and I know Eminem's got
Okay.
fans like
So
definitely.
your issue is you shouldn't be held in this godlike perspective where he's untouchable, where he's okay. No, I get
No,
it. I get it. It's
he
same like
can't be.
Nas. I mean, there was a point
Yeah,
where Nas was there for me, and people they started talking about, oh, Super Ugly was better than Takeover was better than Ether, and at that point in that era, I was like, ah. But now reading
can we
back,
can
I'm
we
like, okay, whatever. I see your argument, but I still don't
can
think.
we do
I
that
still
next?
think
Can
Ether.
we? Can that be our next one? Can that be our next one? Can
Of
that be our
course.
next one? You're about to make a point there for Ether. I'm coming for you. But like Nas's career was also unfair. Like the way people hip hop is dead is an incredible album, bruh. Like it is from track one to track 16 or whatever. It is incredible, bruh. Like it's a really good album. Why did Ocean decide that's a shit album? How did we all just collectively decide that's a shit album?
I think one of the first things when that album came out, the South was
Yeah.
popping. So as soon as he dropped the album title and he didn't really give context to it, he was doing it in radio interviews,
Yeah.
but niggas weren't paying attention. I wasn't paying
Right.
attention. That's when the South, Luda and them wearing, oh, hip hop was dead, it lives in the South, and hip hop was not dead. So I think the declaration they got completely wrong. They didn't they didn't get what
And
he
but
was trying to say.
but we're supposed to go back now as people and go, hey, you know what? Actually, the songs on Kingdom Come. Like if you look at like the actual songs and like break them down on a Hip Hop is Dead is a great album. Kingdom Come is a great album, bruh. Like
Yeah.
we need to. I think those kind of albums just caught the beginning of the social media backlash era. Like
Yeah.
where this is balls. Like I just came in and just decided on mess that something is balls, and like we all just kind of just went along with it. But
Together
yeah,
with
bruh.
together with the dominance of the South, social media era. Nothing against the South. There's some heat there. You know what I'm saying? We just
Right?
discussed Ti. I mean, he bothered
Ludacris as well,
Kanye.
bruh. Ludacris got more.
Ludacris as well.
Ludacris
Word of
got more
mouth.
slaps than Eminem. Ludacris got more slaps than Eminem. Like way more. Ludacris has more slaps than Eminem. I can give them to you. We can kick them off, and that's kind of the weird gets weird for me, bruh. But like, but anyway, no shot for coming on today and allowing me to rant. And
Of
we will
course,
meet
of
up
course.
again. And I want to
Yeah.
discuss Ether with you. But Ether, I want to do it with you as like a rap battle. Like we're gonna break it down. Like do you know like the way we run back Hollow the Don's bars? I want us to run through the actual bars. I'm gonna have it here. Well, I want to run through the bars in Ether, and you must tell me why Ether is as fire as it was. We're gonna do
Okay.
that, right?
So we'll do that with Takeover and Ether. We look at it in parallel or what?
I don't think Takeover are comparable to, because
Or Super
Takeover
Ugly.
wasn't actually Super Ugly would probably be better because Takeover was more for Mob Deep. Like if we really real, it was more for Mob Deep, and then Nas just caught 1, 2 there in the end. And even
Okay, no,
maybe we
makes
can
sense.
do
Makes sense.
maybe we can do that because that was how it kicked off. So because that was only actually about 8 to 10 bars, bruh.
Yeah.
And then it was only about 8 to 10 bars, and then we'll go into Super Ugly, bar for bar, like they're standing across from each other.
We can do
Because
that.
we gonna do that. Aber Shotix, thanks again. Let
Oh
me
my
go
God.
fetch these lights from school now, and I know you
Yeah.
got class to get back to. But Shotix,
Thanks a lot.
like
It's been really exciting.
that. Aber sure.